Hey guys, Heath with Burris Optics. We're going to be doing an entire series of predator hunting focused videos, breaking down tips, tactics, and strategies on how to get coyotes off of your properties. So in this video, we're going to talk about the differences of coyote hunting day versus night. And I've been coyote hunting in the day for a very long time. And what I've noticed is the coyotes during the day are a lot more vocal at first light and right before dark. At nighttime, they're vocal all night long. So what that does is it allows you to identify their location when you hear them howl and gives you a better idea on how to set up, what angle to approach them, and it gives you just that confidence that you know for a fact there are coyotes there. During the day, approach is everything. When you walk in, you want to make sure you're going down through the ditch, not over the hill. Coyotes can see you very well. A lot of the time they're laid up and they're looking around, and any movement, they'll spot it. At nighttime, whole different story. You can walk right out in the middle of a wide open field, set up, and you're good to go. They just don't see very well at night. So it's a lot easier to get set up and it takes a lot less effort. So during the day, I'm very strategic about my approach. I make sure I don't walk up over a hill, I go down through ditches, I don't want to skyline myself. But nighttime, I'm mindful of my approach, especially if the moon is bright. I make sure that my truck's parked where they're not going to see it. There's not going to be the moon shining off the windshield or the side of the truck. But I also set up with some sort of back cover just to break up my human outline. It doesn't have to be much. It could be a corner post, a gate, a tree, just anything to help break up your outline truly helps a lot. Now, I'm a firm believer for night hunting, a tripod is a game changer. I mean, it allows you to stand up, or you can adjust the legs and sit down on a stool, or even sit on the ground if you want to. It's very versatile. But being able to lock your gun in, point it in the general direction where you think the coyotes are going to come from is a huge help, because the coyotes show up, you're already pointed right there, and it takes out a lot of movement of having to readjust. It also allows you to make shots, farther out there with confidence because your gun's locked in rock solid. The biggest perk to using a tripod is the forgiveness of movement. If you're using a pair of shooting sticks, you got to hold the back end of your gun and have a hold of it the whole time. You want to be able to use your hands with your scanner, to turn on your DVR or push a button on your remote. Now, using a tripod, your hand's free. You can do all those things, and it really just decreases that movement. And you want to take every precaution you can to make sure that those coyotes don't spot you. So when you're day hunting, you really have to be cautious about movement. Especially if it's calm out, any little movement, those coyotes pick up on it like that. At nighttime, you do want to be mindful of your movement, but you can get away with a lot more. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, on my optic, I do keep it in standby mode. And what that does is it keeps the light from reflecting back on me and lighting me up. So in doing so, I push the button, it comes on, and I'm good to go when I need to make a shot. So typically at night, I hunt stuff that I wouldn't even think about hunting during the day. Stuff that's wide open, where there's not a lot of escape routes, I like to call it, that the coyotes can get to, or not a lot of cover they can hide behind. Hunting, you look out there and you see a wide open crop field and you're like, oh, there's not any coyotes out there, but there are. And when you hunt that wide open stuff, you can maintain a visual on those coyotes the entire time. Some of the places I hunt during the day, to be able to approach them, I got to walk down through valleys and stuff. Well, those same valleys are escape routes for the coyotes. You got a visual on them, they get down in the valley, you have no idea where they went. And that's how they get away, and then you end up empty-handed. So obviously when you night hunt, hunting over a dead pile can be really productive. It sucks coyotes in from a long ways away. But I still call when I go to a dead pile. Typically you sneak up on the dead pile, you get an idea where the coyotes are, you and your partner 1, 2, 3 shoot, and then what do you do after that? Well, typically the coyotes will run off and they'll eventually come back. I like to play, what I do is I'll start out with a howl to put in those coyotes' head that there are coyotes still at that pile. And it makes them anxious. They think there's coyotes that are eating their food because they are very territorial over dead piles. So typically that'll bring them back in. And then you shoot again, then what? That's when I get into playing coyote fight sounds. So that kind of activates that aggression and you can bring more coyotes back and keep stacking them up. You can hunt a dead pile during the day. Now when you walk up there, there's probably not going to be 20 coyotes on it, but they're not going to be far. At nighttime, approach is everything. Those coyotes are already going to be there. But how you approach with the wind is super important. You want to always walk in with the wind blowing from the coyotes to you. You want to go in to where you're not going to be silhouetted by the moon, get set up, and make your shot. So that's the differences between coyote behavior day and night. What a lot of people want to know is, how do you call differently at night? We've done a video on this. We're going to put a link up. Check it out. So if you guys have any tips or tactics that are working for you, drop them in the comment box. I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned for more videos.